Hi there, I'm Danny Flexen and welcome to this week's edition of SecondsOut FLEXpectations. We're here every Thursday 4:30 PM to look ahead to the boxing action of the weekend to come. No other place to start and probably to finish as well. I might have a little bit of time at the end to talk about Anthony Crolla's final fight, but it's got to be a mouth-watering mega fight between Sergey Kovalev and Canelo Alvarez. It's kind of snuck up on us. It doesn't feel like it's had the sort of build-up normally associated with a fight of this stature. But having said that, I think partly is due to the fact that Kovalev only fought 11 weeks previously. And it must be a tricky, well, maybe not so tricky, but there's certainly elements of the decision that must have caused him greater thought. He's had the fight with Anthony Yarde, although most people seem to think Kovalev won a vast majority of the rounds in that fight. He did come through a hellish 8th session when he was nearly stopped. Got the win, obviously, but it was fought at a fast pace. It wasn't an easy fight by any means for Kovalev. And just 11 weeks later, he has to go in with Canelo. And while he'll be thinking, look, this guy is one of the best pound-for-pound fighters in the world, however, he's never fought at my weight, light heavyweight. I'm a career light heavyweight. I consider myself the favourite in this fight. Going into a fight of this magnitude without a full training camp must have been at least a consideration. I guess the reported $12 million purse that Kovalev is due to receive may have assuaged some of those doubts. What I would say is that Canelo, regardless of the weight, is always going to be a formidable challenge. You know, he's an excellent fighter, only lost, of course, to Floyd Mayweather. Improved a lot since then. His footwork's better than it used to be. His hand speed's always been good, but he's just so much more of a thinking fighter these days. The way he moves his upper body to set up his shots, the way he slips and works off the slips with counters, the way he varies his attack. His defence is also excellent. If he has a weakness at all, it's that he likes to work in spurts. He's not someone who produces a consistent work rate. But as that generally produces the more eye-catching shots and means that he can fight at an even pace throughout the 12 rounds, it's not the worst kind of limitation to have. Kovalev, again, he probably has the higher work rate generally than Canelo. Excellent jab, clearly his key weapon in this fight and in all his fights. He's used it to dictate the pace against a variety of world level opponents. And he's coming into this, although his training camp's been abbreviated, he is coming into it as Anthony Yarde's trainer Tunde Ajayi points out on our website, SecondsOut.com. He's coming into this with momentum. Not just that he's won the fight, but also that he's only fought 11 weeks previously, and he'll still have a lot of the kind of lessons learned and the kind of good feeling associated with that victory coming into the fight with Canelo. Canelo's not likely, with a single punch, to hit Kovalev a lot harder than Yarde did, but it's more the accuracy and the timing that's going to pose a problem. It's a really, really good fight, and one that a lot of people seem to be thinking is a kind of formality for Canelo to win his world title at third weight. I'm not going to say fourth. I don't consider the WBA secondary title to be a real world title, regardless of how destructive Canelo looked in his victory over Rocky Fielding to get that belt. But I don't think it is a formality. I think Kovalev, if he hasn't been harmed too much by fighting just recently, and if he does still have something left, and he certainly looked like he did against Yarde, under Buddy McGirt as well, has got back to some of the kind of basic fundamentals that made him such a successful amateur and early on in his career as well, beating the likes of Bernard Hopkins, for example. Can give Canelo a really, really hard fight. You know, it's going to be a challenge in itself just for Canelo to get past that excellent jab that Kovalev varies to great effect. But even if he does that, Kovalev knows how to kind of tie up on the inside. His movement's pretty good. And his ring generalship is excellent. You know, we've got, just like with Josh Taylor and Regis Prograis recently, we've got two very high-level operators who will undoubtedly engage in a real exciting but thoughtful game of chess in the ring on Saturday night. It's going to be really interesting. I'm not going to give a prediction, but I'd like to know what you guys think, who's going to win and how, so let me know in the comments below. But also, before I go, I should mention the final fight, as I kind of alluded to earlier, for Anthony Crolla. It's given an abundance of exciting nights to the boxing fan base and great TV fighter as well, always in, you know, give and take, but intelligent give and take fights. Won a world title against all the odds. Just a real kind of humble grassroots hero of the like we don't see so many anymore. And he has his final fight on Saturday night, appropriate enough, at the Manchester Arena, where he's enjoyed so many of his memorable moments. against Frank Urquiaga. Not thought to present too tough a challenge, but we all want Crawler to go out with a win, let's be honest. Also on that show, Katie Taylor bids to become a 2-weight world champion against Christine Leonardo too. And a great fight, shouldn't go too far under the radar, between English middleweight champion Jack Cullen challenging for the Commonwealth middleweight title held by Felix Cash. Really looking forward to that one. So yeah, any thoughts on the Manchester show? Crawler's career would be appreciated, but the main thing I want you to comment on below: who wins between Canelo and Kovalev, and how? I'll be back next week, 4:30 p.m. for FLEXpectations, and I'll be here on Monday to reflect on all the action in Reflections, Monday, 4:30 p.m. Cheers.